You think the flood is coming. It already arrived. While you were watching prices on used pontoons collapse, 8 Chinese brands quietly slipped into American marinas, some of them stamped with names built to look almost exactly like the engines you already trust. Parson, Hyia, GFream, HDX, each one selling the same horsepower for half the money. The dealers will not warn you because the dealers are the ones bringing them in. By the time you notice the badge on the back of your neighbor's boat, the invasion is already paid for. So how does that happen? How do motors that were basically locked out of this country end up bolted to boats at your local ramp? One thing was supposed to stop them, and it is still on the books right now: a federal permit. Under the Clean Air Act, no marine engine can be legally sold in the United States unless it carries an Environmental Protection Agency emissions label. No label, no entry. That single sticker is the reason you can walk into any dealer and trust the motor hanging on the wall. It is the reason your Mercury or your Yamaha never made you think twice about a factory in Suzhou. That label is the wall. And the wall is still standing. That is what makes this so dangerous. The Chinese builders are not knocking it down, and they are not sneaking under it. They are climbing straight over the top the legal way by getting their own engines approved. Customs still seizes crates of uncertified motors at the dock, so the cheap junk still gets stopped at the border. But the serious players figured out the paperwork. They are walking their engines through the same front door your American brands use, one approval at a time. The rule that was built to protect Mercury is now stamping its rivals into the country. Think about that for a second. So the question is not whether they are coming. They already cleared customs. The real question is who they are, what they cost, and which American name they bury first. 8 brands are leading the charge. Some build engines, some build hulls, a few build both. We are going to count them down right now, from the bargain badge you can buy on a discount site tonight to the one name the whole American boating business is truly afraid of. By the end, you will know exactly which logo to look for and exactly what it is about to cost the people who built this business. Let me start at the bottom. Number 8, Hankai. If you have ever typed cheap outboard motor into a shopping site at midnight, you have already met Hankai. This is the bargain basement of the Chinese boating world. A small Hankai 2-stroke can show up on your doorstep for a few $100s, a tiny slice of what a name brand kicker motor costs at the dealer, and the reviews are exactly what you would expect for the price. Mechanics who have torn them apart describe electrical failures, soft metal that rusts within a season, and cheap plastic parts that crack under normal use. So if Hankai is that rough, why does it lead off this list? Because price is a weapon, and Hankai is the cheapest blade in the drawer. For a man who just wants a motor to push a small Jean boat across a farm pond, 90% of the reliability at 20% of the price is a trade he will make all day long. Hankai is not here to beat Mercury on quality. It is here to make a brand new motor cheaper than a used one. And here is the quiet damage that does. Every time one of these motors sells, it resets what a new outboard is allowed to cost in a buyer's head. The man who paid $400 for a Hankai will never again look at a $4,000 Mercury the same way, even after the cheap one fails on him. The number is already in his head. That is how a flood starts, one anchor price at a time. That is the opening shot. The next 7 brands are smarter, better funded, and far more dangerous. Number 7, GFream. GFream is what happens when the bargain end grows up. It is one of 3 outboard labels built by Parson Power Machine, the best-known outboard maker in China. The GFream badge is the value line, a clean copy of a proven Japanese design sold for roughly half the price of the original IT copies. That word, copy, matters here. Mechanics who take these apart have shown that some Chinese engines are built so close to the Japanese originals that a Yamaha cover will very nearly bolt straight onto the Chinese block. The shapes are familiar on purpose. When the shape of the motor on your neighbor's transom looks like the one you paid full price for, that is not an accident. It is the marketing. GFream sits in the sweet spot of the trade, cheap enough to undercut every American dealer in town, finished well enough that the average weekend boater cannot tell the difference from 20 feet away. And it carries the backing of a parent company that sells in more than 100 countries. Hankai floods the pond. GFream is built to flood the dealership. There is one catch: the price tag hides, and it is worth knowing. The single biggest complaint about these value engines is not the motor itself, it is the parts. When a GFream or any of its cousins breaks, owners in some markets have struggled to find spares because the dealer network is thin and the supply chain runs all the way back to China. The motor is cheap. The wait for a single gasket can be long. Keep that in mind because it is the soft spot in the whole invasion. Number 6, HDX. HDX is the 3rd brand under the Parson roof, and it plays a different game. While GFream chases the value buyer, HDX is sold as the rugged one, the motor pitched for harsh water and hard use. In some markets, the company has marketed HDX as built for brutal weather, the kind of cold weather, heavy-duty pitch that speaks straight to the fishing guide and the working boat captain. Here is why 3 brands from one company should worry you. This is the oldest trick in selling. You flood the shelf with what look like rival names, GFream, HDX, Parson, so the buyer thinks he is choosing between rivals. He is not. He is choosing between 3 doors into the same factory in Suzhou. For the American boater, that means the competition is not one company you can size up and judge. It is a single maker wearing 3 different masks, hitting the budget buyer, the value buyer, and the rugged buyer all at once. And it works. A buyer who compares 3 different badges and picks his favorite feels like he made a careful choice. He did not. He picked a paint color. The design, the supply chain, the warranty, all of it traces back to one building. That is not competition. That is the look of competition, built on purpose. And the company behind all 3 masks is the one sitting at number 1. We will get there. First, the brand that is trying to skip the gasoline fight entirely, number 5, E-Propulsion. Every other brand on this list is fighting over the gasoline engine. E-Propulsion decided to skip that war and win the next one. This is a Chinese company built around electric outboards, motors with no fuel, no oil changes, and almost no moving parts to break. And unlike the bargain badges, E-Propulsion is already here, sold through real dealers, reviewed in the major boating magazines, sitting on the same shelves as the American names. Its Spirit line goes head-to-head with small gas outboards, and the company has done the math out loud. Run the electric motor for 500 hours, and the fuel and upkeep savings start closing the gap on the higher sticker price, until the cheap gas motor is no longer cheaper at all. This is the quiet one. It does not undercut on the sticker today, it undercuts on the next 10 years. As more lakes ban gasoline engines and more states push electric, E-Propulsion is set to take over the water the gas brands are being pushed off of. Number 5 is not flooding the market, it is waiting for the tide to come to it. And the tide is already moving. A growing list of American lakes and reservoirs now limit or ban gasoline engines to protect drinking water, and several states keep tightening the screws on older 2-stroke motors. Every one of those rules is a door closing on the gas brands and a door opening for electric. E-Propulsion does not have to beat Yamaha in a straight fight. It just has to be standing there when the gas motor gets banned off the water. If this is the first time anyone has laid out who is actually behind these badges, subscribe. This channel takes apart the boating market every week, the part the dealers leave out. Now back to the invasion, because so far we have talked about engines you bolt on. The next 3 brands want to sell you the whole boat. Number 4, Gospel Boat. Out of Qingdao comes a builder that does not want a corner of your transom. It wants the whole hull. Gospel Boat builds fishing boats, pontoons, and small cruisers. And at the 2026 Shanghai Boat Show, it rolled out 2 brand new models, a center console fishing boat and a mixed hull it calls the Easy Craft, pulling buyers from outside China to the booth. Read that again. A Chinese yard is now showing off new fishing boats at an international show, the exact stage American and European builders use to launch their best boats. The pitch is familiar by now. The same style of boat, the same layout an American fisherman expects, at a price the catalog lists in the low tens of thousands of dollars instead of the high tens. Gospel is still small in the United States, but small is how every name on this list started. The aluminum and fiberglass hulls are already built. The only thing standing between them and an American boat ramp is a deal to sell them here, and those deals are cheap. Picture the showroom that makes that happen. A dealer watching his floor fill with American boats he cannot move, paying interest on every unsold hull, gets a call offering him fishing boats at half his cost with better profit. In a slow market, that call is hard to refuse. The Chinese hull does not have to win on the water first. It only has to win the dealer, and a lot of dealers are already desperate. Number 3, All-Sea Boats. If Gospel is the newcomer, All-Sea is the one that should make a builder in Tennessee or Indiana sweat. All-Sea, also out of Qingdao, calls itself a leader in high-end aluminum fishing boats, and the lineup proves it is not bluffing. Aluminum hulls, fiberglass pontoons, double-decker party barges with rooftop bars and water slides, sizes running from 15 feet up past 35. The price gap is the part that lands like a punch. All-Sea lists boats from a few $1,000s for a basic hull up to around $300,000 for the top builds. That bottom number is the threat. The American pontoon and aluminum boat business, the bread and butter of dozens of Midwestern factories, lives right in the range All-Sea is going after. A fence pontoon that costs an American family $40,000 or $50,000 at the dealer has a Chinese twin listed in the low teens. The quality question is real, and it is not settled. But remember what we are watching. This is the same path the engines walked. First, the price gets your attention. Then the quality quietly catches up. By the time it does, the American rival is already gone. And the American pontoon builder cannot simply drop his price to match. He is paying American wages, American aluminum, American shipping, and now a tariff on the very parts he brings in to build the boat. The Chinese yard is not fighting fair, and it does not have to. It only has to be cheaper on the sticker, in a year when cheaper on the sticker is the only thing a nervous buyer can hear. Number 2. Hyia. Now the names get serious. Hyia is not a bargain badge or a sub-brand. It is a focused engine company out of Hangzhou, started in 2008, and the numbers are what set it apart. Its plant is built to make 100,000 units a year. That is not a workshop. That is an assembly line aimed at the world. And Hyia is climbing the horsepower ladder fast. The company has been rolling out a new engine line that covers outboards from 100 to 130 horsepower with a full set of modern 4-strokes on the way. That matters more than it sounds. The little kicker motors were never the real prize. The money in the American outboard market is in the big engines, the 100-horse and up motors that hang off base boats, bay boats, and pontoons. Those engines cost American families many thousands of dollars each. Hyia is walking straight into that room. Same horsepower class as the engine on the back of your boat right now, built on a line designed to make 100,000 of them a year, priced to undercut. Its name for reliability still falls behind the Japanese brands, but Hyia has the factory, the horsepower, and the price. 2 of those 3 are already winning. And a good name is the one thing that can be bought with time. Every Japanese brand on the water today was once the cheap import that nobody trusted. Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, all of them arrived as the bargain option and spent decades earning the badge they carry now. Hyia is running that exact playbook, with a factory already big enough to supply the whole world. The only real question is how many American model years it takes, and the one company more dangerous than Hyia is the one that taught it how this is done. Number 1. Parson. This is the name the American boating business is truly afraid of. Parson Power Machine started in Suzhou about 20 years ago, built on a skilled team with roots going back to the American outboard giant that once owned Evinrude and Johnson. Today, Parson sells engines in more than 100 countries and is the best-known outboard maker China has ever built. For years, there was a ceiling. The biggest motor Parson built was 60 horsepower, useful for tenders and small boats, no threat to the heart of the market. That ceiling is gone. Parson has rolled out a 115 horsepower outboard, nearly doubling its reach in a single jump, and a fresh 115 is exactly the size that pushes real family boats. But the part that should end the debate is where Parson showed up. The company has had a booth at the IBEX show in Tampa, Florida, the biggest boating trade event in North America. That is not a factory in China hoping to be discovered. That is a Chinese builder standing on the American industry's own trade floor, shaking hands with American dealers. Parson has also announced electric outboards and a deal for diesel engines, covering gas, electric, and diesel at once. For 30 years, the emissions wall kept companies like this on the other side of the ocean. Parson did not tunnel under it. It got approved, booked a booth in Tampa, and walked through the front door. The wall did its job for a generation. The generation is over. And the timing is not random. The marine press calls this about 20 years since serious Chinese rivals first showed up in the world outboard market. For most of those 20 years, the American brands could shrug it off, because the Chinese motors were small, rough, and stuck overseas. That excuse is gone. The motors are bigger, the approvals are real, and the booth in Tampa has a Parson banner hanging over it. So here is what the 8 names add up to, and why it hits you in particular. Start with the tariff math, because it cuts both ways. New tariffs now hit around 100 boat brands and roughly a dozen engine makers selling into the United States, with China among the hardest hit. On paper, that protects the American builder. In practice, it props up the sticker price on every boat in the showroom, including the American ones, while the Chinese brands keep pricing 40 to 60% below the big-name brands anyway. The tariff does not save you money, it just raises the floor under everyone. And the floor is already cracking underneath the dealers. Floor plan financing, the loans dealers take to stock their lots, charges interest on every boat sitting unsold. The National Marine Manufacturers Association has reported new powerboat retail sales sliding year over year, which means more boats are sitting longer and piling up more interest. A lot full of expensive American boats bleeding money every month is the worst possible spot to defend from, right as a wave of cheaper foreign ones rolls up the ramp. Now layer in the collapse you already feel. Used boat values are sliding. Dealers are stuck paying interest on lots full of boats that will not move. Into that exact moment walks a wave of new hulls and engines priced at half the American number. If you own a boat, the flood of cheap competition drags your resale value down with it. If you are about to buy, you are standing at a fork most people never even see. The American badge, at full price, propped up by a tariff, or the Chinese badge, at half the price, with a reliability record that is still being written. And that is the real question hiding under this whole story. Not whether the Chinese brands are coming. They already cleared customs. The question is what you do at that fork. Because the men who get hurt worst here are not the ones who choose. They are the ones who do not realize there is a choice at all, who walk into a dealership in 2026, see a familiar-looking motor, and never check whether the name on the cowling was built in Japan, in America, or in a factory in Suzhou that figured out how to climb the wall. You are not going to be one of them. You know the 8 names now. You know the rule that held them back. And you know that rule just stopped working. So before you sign anything on a boat or a motor this year, look at the badge, then look up where it was actually made. That one habit is the difference between riding this wave and getting buried under it.